Hi, it's Jane. It's been a week, hasn't it? Snow, ice, you name it. Another bout of some kind of stomach stuff. Who knows? It's just crazy. How's your week going? I hope it's going better than mine. Do have a couple of finished items, and once again, I have another hacky sack for the Operation Christmas Child. I did finish the blanket that I was making. And this is in the pattern, the mint choco chip that's at crochetdreams.com. It's a free pattern. So there is that. It is finished. And for the edging, what I chose to do was just do one row of single crochet all the way around the blanket. And think it's just perfectly fine, and that's what I'm going with for this blanket. It's more of a lapcan than a blanket. Could probably be used as a crib blanket, but I'm going to consider it a lap blanket. So that came out fairly nicely, and I will tell you, I had a total of 6 skeins of 2 different colors. As you know, I had 6 of the cactus bloom, and then I had 6 of the daisy. This, I have 2 skeins of the cactus bloom left, plus this amount of the cactus bloom left. And this is the Premier Chunky Bloom. I have 3 of full skeins of the Chunky Bloom in Daisy. Let me grab those. Plus, these were some leftovers as I was crocheting along of the Daisy. So those can be added to that. And I think I'm just going to make another blanket. To be honest, I think I'll just do another one of the Choco Mint ones. So there, that will kind of be a little bit of the focus this week, is working on that. And I had restarted working on the sleeves of my sweater. This is the knit, my comfy knit sweater. I want to say by Sorella, but I'm not positive. And I had already moved the progress keeper up. It was way down here. So I moved that up last night and thought, why didn't I wait till this morning? But, you know, stuff happens. So I'm working on those sleeves, and that'll take a little bit to get through. The only other thing I did is I did start an amigurumi, and this is using some of those scrap cakes that I have on that tote, and this is the beginning of it. It's called a crochet buddy, or cuddle buddy. I think that's what it's called. Cuddle buddies. And you use worsted weight and an eye hook. There is a picture of this. And I will tell you, I got this free. But I did not put the link in with the pattern when I copy and pasted it. I did print this off. Like I said, it was a freebie, but I will tell you, I am seeing this one being sold on Etsy. The pattern. So I don't know if it was free and the person changed it to now it's paid for pattern. But basically the only thing with this is they do show you how to do the rabbit ears, the dog ears, the bear ears, you know, to make them different a little bit. And you can use scraps with these. So I thought, well, I'll just use the scrap cake that I had. And so the top part of that had this like brick red, so that's the top part. And the rest of this will be done in this speckled, and it's one of the red hearts like an Iran speckle, something like that. I can't remember the name. Have to make the legs, and then I'll make the ears and sew those on, and this guy will be ready to go sometime this week. I don't know when, but yeah, he'll be ready to go sometime this week. Now, as you know, I like to talk about Operation Christmas Child, some of the things that you can find. And I will tell you this week, in my area, my Dollar Tree has a ton of Easter things. And one of the things I like to pick up, yes, because they're cheap, are the sidewalk chalks. And you get 20 pieces in this, and it comes in a nice little container. And generally what I do is I break these up into packs into a Ziploc thing where they get one of each color. Put that in there, and like I said, I like to use my Hobby Lobby to get the 4 slates of the they're on a wooden frame. They're the chalkboards, and it's not a bad price. I think when I picked them up the last time, may have been $3.99 for a pack of 4. May have gone up. You know, everything's going up, but I still figure $1 a piece. And then you can add the chalk in there as well. This I generally do for the younger children. This will fit into the Samaritan's Purse, the cardboard boxes. It will fit on the bottom. It'll fit on the top. At one time, I thought about gluing it to the top of the box and decided against that. But I included those chalkboards for the 2 to 4 age groups. I think it's a great option. Plus, it gives them, you know, a lot of playtime with the chalk, that kind of thing. So I've done that in the past. Now, at my Dollar Tree, they had this. They have a basket up front that has things that are priced lower. Let me give you an example. For some reason, they got in packages of I want to say Hostess Zingers. So they had those marked down to like 50 cents, which the date had gone out, you know, I think the day before or something like that. Lots of times they'll have tumblers that they have, or the $5 big tumblers that look like the Stanley cups, missing the straw. They'll have that in there for $1.25, $1.50, something like that. Well, this is one of the things that they sold during Christmas time for tabletop tennis. It's missing the ping pong ball. So it was marked down to $1. I did pick it up. And I do like to pick these up because these are great games that you can throw into these boxes. I always take it out of the packages. And generally I will add 2 sets of paddles. Plus several ping pong balls so they can play with friends, that kind of thing. Generally, I will put that lots of times in the 10 to 14 age, sometimes in 5 to 9. It just kind of depends, you know, on what I've got sitting around for that kind of thing. So, yeah, those are some of the things that I have done in that past for Operation Christmas Child. There's some pretty good ideas to choose from. I'm a little thirsty, sorry about that. Now I did go look at the, you know, I'd given you the choice with the blues and that striped blue for choosing items for me to make. And I had the poll up, and there was and I can't read it. Sorry, folks. It's a bad thing about getting old. You can't read these things. It was 15% for amigurumi, 53% shawl, I think 22% home decor, and 10% other. I had a lot of suggestions for baskets, like toddler-sized blanket as well. Someone had suggested maybe the shawl, the shells in the round pattern for the for a baby blanket. Karen from Fiber Hearts had suggested something for Easter. She was thinking about, you know, those giant eggs that they make, and then on the inside they have the baby chicks or whatever. She was thinking about something like that, and that would be cool to make. Couple of baskets, and quite a few people wanted me to work on my amigurumi, and I am continuing to work on the amigurumi. Those are important skills as a crocheter to learn, and I know that a lot of my derpiness comes from not having skills for amigurumi. So the number one thing is a shawl. Now I am going to mix a little bit of that leftover gentle white that I had from doing the jacket and doing the blanket before. I am going to use some of that if I need to with this shawl to bring it all together, or to make it, to give a little break in between the two colors. Kind of working that out, trying to decide what to do on that. And I will take you along on that journey as well, because I have decided that that shawl will be a shawl that I will kind of make up as I go. Not use a pattern. Use some of the different stitches that I know. See how they work out. Maybe they'll work out, maybe they won't. But you know, I'm going to play with it, have a little bit of fun, and I'll take you along with that on that journey. I will show you as I go along what I've done during the week, so you can see that shawl as it builds out for itself. So, and I'm doing that because I do want to just stretch my brain a little bit. And people laugh when I say that, because they're like, okay, you're involved in 4 different Bible studies. Isn't that stretching your brain enough? And I don't mean it in that sense of stretching it that way. What I mean is stretching it with my crochet. Doing something that's a little different with the crochet. So, and I can always find time to sit and do that little bit with crochet. I thought about knitting a shawl, but I thought, no, I'm not in the mood for that. So, figure I've got enough with the sweater sleeves that I just need to leave that and just go ahead and do a little more on the crochet. And, you know, I kind of have a vision in my mind what I would like this shawl to start out with. So I'm going to give it a shot. See if I can create it the way I see it in my mind. Probably won't be anything like what my mind is pictured, you know, because sometimes we think of things and they just don't work out. But it'll be fine either way. Either way. All right. I think that's kind of all that I have that's, you know, kind of with what's going on there. Yeah, I did want to tell you, since I had another little bout with some stomach gut issues this week, I missed getting the Tarnation Tuesday up. I just did not get it filmed, did not feel well enough to get it filmed. So I am hoping to get that done this week and get that up. hopefully later on today I can get it filmed, the next little stitch that I would like to feature. And then I am looking at a project to do with the Tarnation. Like I said, I'm thinking about a garment with Tarnation crochet. And of course, you know, I got that, had those two lovely skeins, jumbo skeins, dropped off at my house. So I'm thinking of using that for the Tarnation. It'll be dark, it won't be well seen, but I don't care. Trying to decide if I want to do a lace stitch, Tarnation lace stitch, or maybe some things in between breakups. I talked about doing a Tarnation blanket or a sweater in Tarnation honeycomb stitch. Got to figure out if I have enough with those skeins. I don't want to have to buy more, but I have to figure out if I have enough of those or if I might need to throw in something else from one of these totes. Do have a couple of totes in the other room that I could probably pull from and see if there's something that I could use with that. But I would have to show you that as I start that process. So, and I will show you that when I start that. So there's that. Those are the things that go on in this head. And sometimes they are absolutely crazy. Yep, that's how I roll. All right. And I have to tell you, we're supposed to have 50 degrees tomorrow. 50 degrees today, tomorrow, and I think through Thursday. I'm not positive. Before we dip back down into the 30s, or 30s to 40s. And I couldn't be more thrilled. I'm looking forward to it. I am hoping that ice that is in front of my driveway, my garage door, that I'll finally be able to get it up. I don't know if I will be or not, but I'm hoping to be able to get that up. All right, are you ready for a little what in Tarnation? Here we go. Goat rescued from 5th floor window ledge. Goats are amazing creatures, the way that they are able to go into places you don't think are humanly possible or even goatly possible. Firefighters in Madrid came to the rescue of a goat that somehow ended up stranded on a ledge on the 5th floor of an apartment building. Firefighters responded to the building and discovered the goat was on the ledge outside of a closed window leading to a vacant apartment. The goat's origins and how it came to be stranded on the ledge are a mystery. Firefighters used treats including carrots and lettuce to lure the goat to a nearby balcony where they were able to get control of the animal. The goat was turned over to the Madrid Emergency Veterinary School or Service for care while authorities tried to locate the animal's owner. And this next story, I'm sure you've seen this. Remarkably rotund Chicago beaver becomes an online celebrity. A Chicago nonprofit is asking social media users to help name a remarkably rotund beaver caught on camera in the city. Urban Rivers, a nonprofit dedicated to restoring Chicago's waterways and protecting native wildlife, shared a video to Reddit showing the huge beaver caught on camera in the city. She lives, eats, and knocks down trees in Pilsen, Bridgeport, and McKinley Park. So really, she's at the intersection of the south, southwest, and west sides of the city. She's gotten especially large the last few weeks, probably due to pregnancy, but she's been remarkably rotund for longer than a beaver pregnancy lasts. The group said the beaver has a reputation for being tough. The spots she hangs out are absolutely filled with coyotes. We can't figure out how she hasn't been eaten. Urban Rivers is asking members of the public to suggest names for this resident. Some names have already been suggested included Lori Heavyfoot, Beeve, Irvin, Sigourney Beaver, and Dam Ryan. Sammy Clark, beaver research with Urban Rivers, said officials are hoping the rodent's size is indeed evidence of pregnancy. Seeing this individual looking so plump, especially this time of year, gives us hope that it could be the female pregnant again. Bear moves into California crawl space, relaxes by the pool. California man returned to his home after evacuating during the Eden fire to discover a large bear was spending its days lounging by his pool and its nights sleeping under his house. Sean Lorenzi said the bear made itself at home in the crawl space and can frequently be seen venturing out of the den to lounge by the pool and steal trash from the neighbors. I think it found refuge under the house during the fire and it's definitely not moving. That's its home. Lorenzi's discovery came after Altadena resident Sammy Arbit returned to his own home last month to discover a large bear in his crawl space. Lorenzi said he's hoping officials will be able to set up a humane trap for the bear and locate it in the wilderness far away from his house. And he said he's hoping that that same thing will be done for his unwanted downstairs neighbor, which he has nicknamed Yogi. Neighbors said they believe Yogi is a bear that has been spotted wandering the area for several years, but it hadn't made trouble until moving into the crawl space. We are having some fuses blown, so he's down there obviously whacking things around, he said. Some of the insulation has been pulled out. CDFW officials said they are unaware of the bear living under the house and they are aware of it and are working on ways to determine the best approach for evicting the ursine squatter. I need him out, Lorenzi said. I don't want him hurt, but I need him removed, and I think he's just going to come back. And California, you've got a roll going on here, 11 donkeys found wandering loose in California. Authorities in California rounded up 11 donkeys found running loose in a San Diego County industrial park. The San Diego County Sheriff's Office said the donkeys were reported near Business Park Drive and Sycamore Avenue in Vista on Monday. Deputies called for assistance from the San Diego Humane Society. Upon arrival, our humane officers worked alongside sheriff deputies to safely corral the donkeys into a parking lot of a vacant building where they were later reunited with their owners. The San Diego Humane Society said in a statement to NBC San Diego, "We are relieved that these sweet donkeys are now back where they belong." The Humane Society said officers plan to follow up with the owner of the ranch later this week to determine how the animals managed to escape. If you know anything about animals, they find an escape, they're out, they're gone, just because they're nosy. I believe this happened in Oklahoma, I think. Mysterious object spotted during News 4 broadcast. Likely a bird, not a UFO. A mysterious object spotted in the night sky during a live News 4 broadcast had viewers online buzzing about UFOs, but experts say the bright, fast-moving figure was likely something much more ordinary. It's just about 1 minute into the newscast on CW43 last Friday when forewarned Storm Team meteorologist Aaron Brackett walked in front of the green screen and did something he's done countless times over his 15-year career. And a lot of times, I start out with a sky cam. Friday, he showed a sky cam near Penn Square Mall, pointing northwest. That's when something caught his eye. Started seeing this object, and it's flying faster, moving faster than anything I've really observed out there. It's going down, it's moving really quickly, it's bright, it's got light to it, and I kind of called attention to it. I wonder what that is right there, he said during the broadcast. Pretty interesting, moving really fast. After the newscast, Brackett and his News 4 co-workers downloaded the video and took a closer look. I immediately clipped it so that a couple of people around here could look at it in high definition and kind of rewind it. We must have watched it 100 times over. Posted the clip on social media, quickly spread, making its way from social media platforms, X to TikTok and Reddit, getting thousands of views and shares. Several online publications ran headlines declaring Brackett had caught a UFO live on air. Commenters on social media had their theories, ranging from aliens to a bird to a plane or even a helicopter. News 4 showed the footage to Chopper 4 pilot Mason Dunn. At first, I thought it might be a spotlight from the ground, maybe the rotating beacon at an airport, but it just doesn't look like that to me, so he has no idea what it is. One thing he was sure of, I'm pretty confident that it wasn't a plane or a helicopter. The light is moving fast, even faster than an airplane would. If it were a plane, it would have taken longer. Now, I've seen comets and things falling from the sky during the night when you're flying. So, maybe it was something from space. News 4 took the theory to astronomer Wayne Harris Wyrick. I first start to think that it's a possible meteor, because they do enter the atmosphere. Or is it like returning like a second stage or burnout stage of a satellite of some kind? Those are certain things you look for in both those. It didn't fit any of those at all. And Friday wasn't exactly stargazing weather either. It was mostly cloudy that night. Harris Wyrick said that if it had been a meteor, there would have likely been other signs. You would have heard noises, or you would have had reports of the like of a typical meteor that makes a streak across the sky that lasts, a second or so. You're not going to see it through clouds. This isn't the first time he's been asked to decipher a mysterious flying object caught on camera. Almost every time he says there is a plausible explanation. I just think it seems unlikely to me that any aliens can fly hundreds or thousands of light years here and, do stuff like that in our sky. If they're going to come here, they're probably going to be invisible to us. But he is pretty sure he knows what actually happened in the video. I think it's a bird. I'm guessing that camera probably has an infrared camera, which means you're going to see it differently than you would in daylight with sunlight in it. You see all the lights of the city down below. I think just getting light from the city coming up, and as it flaps its wings, which I think it's doing, you get net change of lighting pattern. Regardless, it was a close encounter with something that Brackett won't forget. We're always seeing airplanes going up and down. We've seen hot air balloons, all kinds of cool stuff, and this really stuck out. Now, there's a little bit of history that is happening in Philadelphia. Besides, winning the game and having a parade to celebrate it and someone being shot. And that is, there is a historic aging ocean liner that a Florida county plans to turn into the world's largest artificial reef, which is departing from South Philadelphia's Delaware River as of this past Wednesday, marking the opening segment of its final voyage. The SS United States, a 1,000-foot vessel that shattered the transatlantic speed record on its maiden voyage in 1952, is being towed to Mobile, Alabama, for planned prep work before officials eventually sink it off Florida's Gulf Coast. The move comes about 4 months after the conservancy that oversees the ship and its landlord resolved a years-old rent dispute. Officials initially planned to move the vessel last November, but that was delayed due to concerns from the U.S. Coast Guard that the ship wasn't stable enough to make the trip. Anyway, officials in Okaloosa County in Florida's coastal panhandle hope it will become a barnacle-encrusted standout among the county's more than 500 artificial reefs, and a signature diving attraction that could generate millions of dollars annually in local tourism spending for scuba shops, charter fishing boats, and hotels. So, the interesting thing about this ship is, on that maiden voyage, it broke the transatlantic speed record in both directions when it reached an average speed of 36 knots, or just over 41 miles per hour. The ship crossed the Atlantic Ocean in 3 days, 10 hours, and 40 minutes, besting the Royal Marine, RMS Queen Mary's time by 10 hours. To this day, the SS United States holds the transatlantic speed record for an ocean liner. The ship will forever symbolize our nation's strength, innovation, and resilience. So that's pretty cool. And here we go with California again. Runaway dog reunites with owner after running across highway. Heart-stopping video shows a Chihuahua running on a California highway. Motorists tried to create a barricade to keep Henry the Chihuahua on the shoulder lane. One driver pulled across 3 lanes trying to cut the dog off, but Henry got away. Another Good Samaritan was able to save the dog. Luckily, his owner saw the video and recognized the family dog. Rachel Blatt was overjoyed to be reunited with her beloved pet. And I gotta tell you, the video is frightening, seeing this dog. Ugh. But he's safe. Now, I've got 2 more stories. This next one is mysterious QR code stickers appear on more than 1,000 graves in Munich. I don't understand that. That, to me, is absolutely bizarre. Stickers have appeared at the Waldfriedhof, Sedlinger Friedhof, and Friedhofshallen cemeteries, and I know I butchered those names, in the southern German city. Police are investigating the incident. More than 1,000 stickers were put on gravestones and wooden crosses at 3 cemeteries in the southern German city of Munich. The stickers, which have been put on both old and recent graves, have a QR code that, when scanned, shows the name of the person buried and the location of their grave in the cemetery, which I do find that interesting. The 5 by 3.5 centimeter stickers surfaced in recent days at those cemeteries. Police are investigating the incident. We haven't found any pattern behind this yet. Stickers were put both on decades-old gravestones and very new graves. So that so far only have a wooden cross. So that's interesting. People who have witnessed anybody putting the stickers on the graves are asked to reach out to the respective cemeteries administration. So apparently the administration has no idea what it's about. I don't remember if this story was a year ago or 2 years ago, but I told you the story about this animal rights group bringing a lawsuit against the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo in Colorado Springs for the elephants. Well, we have a ruling. Elephants can't pursue release because they are not people, court rules. An animal rights group brought a lawsuit on behalf of 5 elephants from Cheyenne Mountain Zoo in Colorado Springs in a move that the zoo said abused court systems. And I agree. Not only that, but waste of time. Court has ruled that 5 elephants being held in a Colorado zoo do not have the legal right to pursue their release because they are not human. An animal rights group brought a lawsuit on behalf of those elephants using a legal process known as habeas corpus. A writ of habeas corpus, Latin for "you may have the body," is a legal maneuver which requires a court to examine the legality of a detention. The Non-Human Rights Project, who took the case to court, had argued the elephants born in the wild in Africa have shown signs of brain damage because the zoo essentially is a prison for such intelligent social creatures known to roam for miles a day. Their hope was a court would rule in their favor and pave the way for the mammals to be sent to an elephant sanctuary instead. But the zoo said moving the elephants and potentially placing them with new animals would be cruel at their age, possibly causing unnecessary stress. It added they are not used to being in larger herds, and based on the zoo's observations, the elephants don't have the skills or desires to join one. Imagine that. The court concluded the majestic animals named Missy, Kimba, Lucky, Lulu, and Jambo are not covered by laws the rights group was pointing to. The legal question here boils down to whether an elephant is a person, the court said in its ruling. And because an elephant is not a person, the elephants here do not have standing to bring a habeas corpus claim. In a statement after the ruling, the zoo said it was pleased with the outcome, but disappointed that it ever came to that. It accused the NRP, which had previously attempted the same lawsuit with several other zoos of abusing court systems to fundraise. Seems their real goal is to manipulate people into donating to their cause by incessantly publicizing sensational court cases with relentless calls for supporters to donate. The NPR said the latest ruling perpetuates a clear injustice and predicted future courts would reject the idea that only humans have a right to liberty. As well with other social justice movements, early losses are expected as we challenge an entrenched status quo that has allowed Missy, Kimba, Lucky, Lulu, and Jambo to be regulated to a life of mental and physical suffering, it said in a statement. Do you have one more story? But I actually think this one borders on insanity. And I do think that when groups like this do this and the court ruling is against them, they should be fined accordingly. I've got to pause this for a moment. We were about to run out of time. The camera would have shut off. Now, this next story, and I hope we didn't have to pay for the research, but I'm sure we probably did. Because, well, I'm just going to read the story. Ancient Egyptian mummies smell sweet and spicy, researchers say. Researchers use what they described as trained human sniffers to study the scent of 9 mummified bodies. Ancient Egyptian mummies smell woody, spicy, and sweet. according to the researchers who took part in a unique new study. Researchers used what they described as trained human sniffers and equipment like an electronic artificial nose of sorts to study the scent of 9 mummified bodies. They said smell was a key consideration for ancient Egyptians when it came to the mummification process, meaning that even 5,000 years ago, conservators widely considered the aroma pleasant due to the use of resins and oils such as pine, cedar, and juniper. The finding, researchers said, which were published in the Journal of the American Chemical Society, show that smell can be used as a way of analyzing the preserved bodies in a non-invasive way. But they also want to find a way to recreate the smells in museums to give visitors the full mummy experience. The research was carried out by teams at the University College London and the University College of, and I have no clue how to pronounce this name, Ljubljana in Slovenia, in collaboration with conservators and curators at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Lead author Professor Matja Strelick said the smell of mummified bodies has for years attracted significant interest from experts and the general public, but no combined chemical and perceptual scientific study has been conducted until now. This groundbreaking research really helps us better plan conservation and understanding the ancient embalming materials. It adds another layer of data to enrich the museum exhibition of mummified bodies. Professor Ali Abdelhalim, co-author and director of Egyptian Museum in Cairo, said, "To the ancient Egyptians, mummification was an important mortuary practice aimed at preserving the body and soul for the afterlife through a detailed ritual of embalming of the deceased using oils, waxes, and balms. The practice evolved over time, and identifying different techniques and materials used offers insight into the era, location, socio-economic status of the individual being mummified." The researchers used various techniques and scientific equipment to identify the chemicals emitted by the mummified bodies. Then the panel of human sniffers described the smells in terms of quality, intensity, and pleasantness. They said they would now attempt to create smellscapes in museums with ancient mummy exhibits to enable audiences to experience this important aspect of ancient Egyptian heritage. And I kind of think that's interesting. But at the same time, those of us who read the Bible know that those that were entombed, placed in caves and tombs, graves, whatever, their bodies were wrapped with linens, and they used oils and aromatics, different things to preserve the bodies so that they would be pleasant smelling. So, I guess it's important. And who doesn't want to smell a mummy? I don't know. I just hope they didn't waste billions and billions of dollars on that. All right, we're going to get into our devotional and then we'll be done for today. I know I'm kind of opinionated about that, but you know, sometimes there are better ways to use your money. And yeah, I think that. Okay. Hope in God, not riches. Command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. 1 Timothy 6:17. Did you know Jesus spoke more about money than almost any other subject? Did you? He knew how tempting it was to view worldly riches as a source of salvation. Although riches may offer temporary security, Jesus promises eternal security. When we find ourselves anxious about how much money we have in the bank, the status of a 401k, or how we're going to pay off our loans, Jesus reminds us that riches are fleeting. He implores us not to store up for ourselves treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy, but to store up for ourselves treasures in heaven. Matthew 6:19-20. God also promised us that when we seek His kingdom first, He will give us all that we need. All that we need. He will not withhold any good thing from us. He will take care of us, and what He gives us will be for our enjoyment. We will only be able to enjoy these things without anxiety, though, if our hearts are set on Him rather than on His gifts. Do not be arrogant and put your hope in your own riches. Put your hope in God and see how richly He provides for you. It may not be a new car, may not be a new house, may not be new clothes, but He will provide. Reflect. What financial concerns have been stealing my peace? Boy, is that a loaded question. Or is it? Pray, Lord, help me to put aside my trust of worldly riches and put my trust in You. You promised You would give me all things to enjoy if I trust in You and seek Your kingdom first. I trust You and I believe Your promise that You will take care of my needs. Declare, the Lord provides for my needs as I seek Him first. Act. Tell someone about a financial concern and ask him or her to keep you accountable in your trust for God's provision. Even that is a loaded thing this week, isn't it, for some of us? I think the biggest thing is being able to understand that sometimes our needs and our wants are two very different things. So, something to think about, isn't it? And I know that when I first read this earlier, because I like to read them beforehand, my first thought was, I'm not sure that I know that He spoke about money that often. You know, I can think of maybe 3-4 different times, but when I started thinking about it later on during the day, I realized that He spoke about that many times. So, yeah, interesting the things that you've done and when you realize that. Like I said, I've read the Bible yearly for years on it. Worked with it, scripture study, scripture writing, studying, and did not realize that He spoke more about money. So, yeah. Amazing, some of the things you find out. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to get started on starting that shawl, taking you along with me as I do it. But in the meantime, do something kind today or during the week for others. And hopefully you're getting good weather this week too. See you guys soon. Bye.